Burping was mine. Burping was my shame.
I know. And I didn't have shame around burping.
Right?
And when I found out you're like, eh, and then I was like, oh my God, I've been burping
When
around
you and I
you.
got together, and I love our children.
Oh my gosh.
But there was two very distinct families when it came to burping.
There was
One
also
family-
two very distinct families when it came to farting. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. But how funny, right? It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because you guys are over there just burping away. The louder the burps, the better. You know what? Watch me burp.
Right. Do you know what I used to say when I was like, good bass? You're like, "Rah, good bass."
And every time I was just like, oh my God. You know? 'Cause
Right?
I'm like, I got to burp as quiet as possible.
Yeah, I know you were like, oh gosh, pardon me, excuse me.
pardon me. It
But
was-
the farts were, and I'm like, do the burps.
I know 100% where the burp shame came from.
Yeah.
I know. I remember very clearly we could not burp at the table. And every time we burped, we had to say, excuse me. And if we didn't say, excuse me, after burping, boy,
What would happen?
I don't remember. Probably blocked it out.
Right? Like got knocked out.
That's the intensity of
Yeah.
it was like, you have to do that. If you don't do that, you're not accepted at this table. Okay, cool. Excuse me when I burp. So then I just stopped burping
Yeah.
because apparently
How did
burping's
you go?
death.
How did you take the table one area to every area?
Well, because it's the same reason why. So what do you mean? Like, how did I take?
Well, if you were taught, this is curiosity.
Yes,
so
I get
if you're
it.
feeling, but you're identifying where the burping shame came from.
Yeah.
And this is just like, this might be like the way that kids apply things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like at the dinner table,
Mm-hmm.
you do not burp at the dinner table,
Mhm.
which it's not bad to have manners at the table, right? There's also like that of where it's okay to like have some
Time and a
rules,
place.
a time and a place. But you were taught, looks like very intensely,
Yes.
that this was not okay. And so there's also ways to teach.
Correct.
Anyways, you got the message that absolutely not.
Yes.
There's zero tolerance and there will be massive consequences
Yes.
at the dinner table. I think I might have answered my own question.
Yeah.
Because my question was, why did you think that if it was at the table, if you got this rule at the table, that it applied on the couch or in the living room
Everywhere.
or everywhere else? But then the way that I described it, I'm like, oh, I see how that conclusion would be made. If you learn a lesson hard enough, you don't think, oh, I can do it over here.
Well, it's
So-
it's so funny that we're talking about this because I've never put these pieces together for us, right?
Okay.
I've never had the awareness because when I'm like, we're laying in bed and I'm like, baby, just fart, like just fart already. Nobody cares. Just fart. Push the fart out, baby, just fart. Because I felt so bad that you felt shame for it. And I'm like, in the meantime, I'm farting.
I know.
Obviously. No big shocker to people out there. Because it's a normal human behavior.
Right.
But it was so funny. And I never realized that the exact same thing is going on with burping.
Yeah.
Because you did the thing where you just stopped farting. Don't fart. Right?
And I never started.
That's
I'm
the
one
whole
of those
thing.
weird
I know
people
that you would
fart.
hold and then you go blow it out somewhere, right? But
Oh my gosh, like when you would walk out the door, it was like rip, gee, let pull the cord,
right?
let her rip. I could feel a hot air balloon right now. Like, I need some space, dude. I gotta fart.
So obviously there was farting taking place.
Oh
throughout
yeah,
your
it
life.
happened. Our poor kids. Like
Okay, so-
sometimes Asher.
So
would
maybe
walk
the burp
around the
analogy
corner.
isn't going to apply because I think I just stopped burping.
You stopped burping, and I just was like careful who I farted around. And sometimes I would get so comfortable at being alone
Mm-hmm.
and just being able to like fart or burp whenever that I would forget at times. Like
Do you realize in this moment, because I'm sitting
we're still
here,
talking about fart and burps.
I'm sitting here thinking of like I feel like, because the solution for me to tell you is like, baby, just fart
Yeah.
and fart with love. Like you just are totally loved no matter what. No matter when the fart happens, no matter what the fart exists like, if it's a 1 to a 10, it doesn't ever matter. And I'm trying to apply that same, I'm just be like, Craig, just burp.
Just burp.
because my immediate, I can't just do it on command.
Oh,
I know some of us who were never shamed.
I can do it right now.
Some of us who were never shamed for farting and burping, you know, like obviously.
Can you fart on command?
I probably work one out. You know, I could probably get one. You give me 30 seconds.
You got this?
My belly, I can probably do it.
Oh my goodness. All right.
So my work is going to be burp.
Okay.
Without saying excuse me or pardon me.
Okay.
I'm just going to burp.
Okay.
And that alone, I know this might sound silly, right? But the idea, that was actually honestly hard for me to say.
Yeah.
Because the idea that I'm going to, because it seems so rude. And so you said earlier, you brought up a really good point where there's a time and a place where it's not appropriate to burp or fart.
Mm-hmm.
And if it happens, it's human. It's not a big deal. We all know that, right? But there's a time and a place where it's not appropriate. And that's an important lesson, right? And there's certain like stages of life where a lesson is applicable and it's not applicable.
Yeah.
And that's an important lesson for a child to learn at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't get that lesson when it came to burping. I got the lesson that you don't burp, right? And that idea of like, in order for me to now, because this is how I process things and this is how I work with like inner child, because this is, not just the burping, but shame, this whole episode that 2025 just gave us, right? I'm so grateful that we've had this conversation, babe. And I'm so grateful that we've been able to like have it and share it with these people. We did not plan what we were going to talk about today. We didn't even really talk about what we were going to, like, there's some times when we would record and we'd be like, okay, we're going to get a topic. We're going to talk about this. We're going to do these things. Today, we didn't do any of that. We just showed up and started talking about whatever came out. And I'm really grateful for this conversation, babe. But as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all of these opportunities to find ways to love myself now, right? I'm going to go hunt down shame so that I can turn it into love.
Hunt down opportunities to love yourself. Yeah.
And as that's happening, I'm like, okay, I've got the universe goes, perfect identification of a shame thing that you get to practice and heal, burping. And the way that you're going to practice healing this is you're going to practice burping without saying, excuse me or pardon me. Because I took excuse me and I minimized it. No, pardon me. I made it even smaller. So every time I would burp, I would like hold it in and expand I would internally keep that burp in. And if any little sign of it would come out, excuse me. I think there's something like super pathologically weird here because as I'm describing holding in a burp, that's what holding in a fart feels like.
It's releasing.
Very similar feeling, right? Because you're like, I got to fart, and you're like, no, you don't, and then it goes up into your belly, and I'm like, I got to burp, and then you're like, no, you don't, and then it like goes down into my chest and bubbles and expands and makes my chest hurt, and then like a little might come out, right? So as I'm sitting here thinking about this, just that simple act of saying or burping without saying excuse me, it feels like. It almost feels, not only does it feel impossible, it feels like I can't do that.
Okay. Can I interject something here?
Yeah.
We were meant to be. We were meant to be. We were meant to be.